Good morning. I'm Deputy Republican Leader Norine Hammond, and I represent the 94th District in the western part of Illinois. I'm honored to serve also as the Chief Budgeteer for the House Republican Caucus. We're now in the final month of session, and we're here this morning to provide an update on where things stand with the budget, revenue, and the lack of any true meaningful negotiations. We have been having ongoing conversations with the Governor's Office of Management and Budget since he introduced his FY26 budget in February. Our House Republicans have made it clear that we have our fiscal priorities, and we also will vehemently oppose any tax increases to pay for more spending. We've had preliminary discussions with our colleagues, the House Democratic budgeteers. I wouldn't characterize that as any true meaningful discussions. We have broached a few subjects, but pretty much at about a 10,000-foot level. So, but if history serves us correctly, that's a signal that the Democrat majority will go it alone, and they will continue to increase wasteful spending and absolutely continue to raise taxes on hardworking Illinois families and businesses. Despite the 2020 election results, which saw that Illinois voters soundly rejected the progressive income tax, Democrats have once again introduced a constitutional amendment for a progressive income tax. Yesterday, it was reported that progressive Democrats are just beginning their campaign for a graduated income tax hike. And this week, the Illinois Revenue Alliance, AKA the Tax and Spend Alliance, presented a list of tax hikes that would raise taxes by $6 billion, and that does not include the graduated income tax hike. $6 billion in new taxes to pay for taxpayer-funded health care benefits for illegal immigrants, more pork projects for Democrats, and more of their wasteful spending on programs. These tax hikes would further damage our economy and drive up the tax burden and the cost of living for Illinois families. I want to focus on what I consider to be the most egregious of these tax hike proposals. That is to raise the estate tax by cutting the exemption in half. That would be from cutting the $4 million exemption to $2 million. It is absolutely ridiculous and unacceptable. Our family farmers struggle enough. It doesn't take a lot of acreage or a lot of equipment to hit a $4 million mark. That's the threshold for this death tax. Our farm families shouldn't have to sell the family farm just to pay for this tax. We should be encouraging and supporting our family farmers, not taxing them to death. I'm sponsoring legislation, House Bill 1457, to triple the state tax exemption to more closely align Illinois with the federal tax exemption. There's bipartisan legislation that's been introduced 2 years in a row to increase the estate tax exemption by 50% for our family farms. And so why would anyone propose cutting this exemption in half at this point? The House Republican Caucus wants to make it perfectly clear. We will not negotiate a budget that includes any tax increases. State government desperately needs structural reforms and to learn to live within its means. We'll continue to stand for our hardworking families and any attempt to increase their taxes. Last year, I suggested that perhaps we needed a line item in the budget for services for the Democratic majority to deal with their compulsion for excessive spending. Maybe it's time we look at that again.